Hey everybody, how are we all going? So in this video, what I'm going to actually do, and might be something you guys have been asking about a fair bit, is I'm now going to look at converting my latest video, which was the one to do with routing, to Angular 4. Okay, because now, as everybody knows, as of March 23rd, Angular 4.0 is now available. Okay, now I don't know how to do this, so this video is not going to be so much about teaching how to do it, but I'm just going to go and do it, and you guys can look at it, and hopefully it's not too hard to do, so that you guys can learn from my mistakes, if I make any. So basically, I've got this blog page up. I'll put it in the description of the video, so you guys can get the same blog, and basically it just goes through what's new. Talks about the fact that the view engine is a little bit faster because it's smaller, and basically they've taken out a few things from the default Angular core. So I've read this a little bit. It says we have pulled animations out of Angular core, which is going to affect me in this upgrade, so I'm going to have to address that. And it says this means if you don't use animation, this extra code will not end up in your production bundles, but for me it will be. This change also allows you more easily find documentation to take better advantage of auto completion. Right? They've moved it to a new ng module called the browser animations module, which is part of the Angular/platform browser/animations section. Okay, so we all know this, so that's something I'm going to have to adjust. And then it's talking about some new features, so an improved ngIf and ng4, where we have an else case, and I mentioned this very briefly in the Angular 4 video, but we'll probably address that more in the next video, in another video. And that's the other thing too, guys. I was meant to move on to routing, but what I might do first is I might talk about the new Angular 4 features, just so we can get them out of the way, and then we'll go back to the routing. Okay. Angular Universal, the project that allows developers to run Angular on a server, is now up to date with Angular again, and this is the first release since Universal, originally a community-driven project, was adopted by the Angular team. This release now includes the results of the internal and external work from the Universal team over the past few months. The majority of Universal code is now located in Angular/platform server. So I haven't really spoken anything about Angular server in this course, and that's simply because I honestly don't know it myself yet, so I might look into this more as I finish this particular course. But we'll keep moving down. As I mentioned before, we've got support now for 2.1 and 2.2 TypeScript compatibility in Angular 4, so we're going to get that benefit. We've got source maps for templates. Now when there's an error caused by something in one of your templates, we generate source maps. They give you meaningful context in terms of the original template. So it looks like just better error handling there. Package changes. We've got some flat ES modules. This is kind of stuff we don't really need to worry about too much. We just kind of get this stuff for free. So here's how we update to 4.00 at the moment. For Linux and Mac, which I'm currently on a Mac computer, we're going to run this command. And if you're using Windows, then you will have to run this command. Okay. So let's go about doing this now. So I'm going to quickly open up a command prompt, and I've got one open here. I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can see it, see what it does. Now I have no idea what this is going to do, so this will be very interesting for me. But basically I'm going to copy this like so. We're going to come over to the command, paste it, and run, and see what happens. Now currently I'm sitting inside of the shaking-login-screen project, and I've created a separate branch for Angular 4, and I have switched to that branch, I believe, or maybe I haven't at this stage, and I probably should have. Anyway, doesn't matter. I'm running this now, and as I can see, it looks like we got an error. TypeScript 2.2.1 invalid. Unmet peer dependency zone.js. Okay, requires peer zone.js, but none was installed. So why is that? So this is where generally you go to the internet and see if anyone else has had the same problem and how did they address it. Whoop, that's not the kind of text I want to have here. Has anyone else got this issue? Angular/Angular CLI, Travis CI. Maybe this guy's had the problem. And that doesn't tell me much at all. In fact, this doesn't tell me anything. It's just a CI build. Is there anyone? Doesn't seem like it's a common issue. Did you build chokes on processing Angular source maps? Maybe this first one. Let's have a look. This issue looks a little different. So that's not going to work either. Hang on. Here we go. Here's one. I can't locally with just enabling node module source maps. It builds, but it takes twice the amount of time. Seems to be a lot of hacking going on here. So, let's come back to my command prompt. And we've got, let's see in our package.js whether we actually have this as a dependency. Maybe we don't. So we'll come over to my code. We'll come into package.json. And do we have a zone.js? We do. Is it the right version? They want higher than 0.8.4. Let's try this. Let's give it the version that it wants, okay? And we can just run this again, I think. So I'll run it one more time. Hopefully it'll just update everything that we currently have again. And hopefully this time we don't get an error, but we did. In fact, Angular/compiler-CLI is also invalid. So npm, let's try npm install zone.js. Just trying to work out what's going on here. Alright, so we've got 0.7.8 and 0.8.5. So now that I've done that, let's try running it one more time. Do we get errors this time? Yes, we still get the damn errors. This time at least we got invalid. So can I get just TypeScript on its own? So let's just install TypeScript.latest on its own here. I have no idea if any of this is going to work. I'm just really clutching at straws here. But I'm thinking maybe I have to do these in a certain order in order for this to work. So we'll try installing just the TypeScript latest to start off with. And see if we can get this to install. And we can't. And why is it? Why is it saying invalid? It's not really telling me, is it? TypeScript at 2.2.1 invalid. And you guys may not even get this problem. 2.2.1 invalid npm. Let's see if anyone else is getting this issue. Installs and meet dependency zone.js. This sounds like what I was looking at before. That looks very similar to what I've got. So what are they saying? Implement the super zone. Well, that was solved when I removed the leading. So they're saying not to have the So let's have a look at the Angular thing here. They're using a tilde. I don't know if I'm comfortable. However, am I actually not updating the right one here? I think I've just realised I actually don't have it down here anyway. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to get rid of this and do the tilde and see if that improves anything. So we'll go back to the original call where we put in everything. And it's still invalid. But does it work? Let's have a look to see if the project actually works. I'm just curious to know if this will work. It looks like I have to update the Angular CLI as well, potentially. Because it's probably not going to work now. Yeah, we've got ng-serve, ng-test. We don't actually have anything for npm install. Well, let's see what happens now when I go to localhost. Does this still work? Yeah, it doesn't look like it does. We go to console, and whoa, okay. Oh, yes, it does. Please include browser animations module or no op animations module in your application. Okay, let's do that, eh? So let's come back over to my source here. Let's see if we can fix this. And let's do what it says. So we'll go import that from, and what was the path that we saw in the file here? No, not that one. Not that one either. Definitely not that one. This one. So where did they say it was going to be located? Up here. This is it. We'll paste that in. Browser animation module. So we'll add that as a module before the route module, I assume. I don't know if this will fix it, but let's just try that. So hopefully we get a compilation. And oh, hello there. Okay, so still not 100% working. We didn't see the transition. Could be a bug break though, because the opacity was working. So let's go back and have a look at the login, or sorry, the router animations. Maybe these are no longer in Angular core. I think these were pushed into the other thing, which is this here. So let's give this a crack. Just curious to know if this will work. No, it's still complaining. It could be just the IntelliSense at this point though, because this is still here. Potentially the Angular 2 stuff. Okay, so apparently not. So apparently that's not the case. It's still an Angular core. So maybe the namespace is still the same, but the module information is inside of this module. Let's have a look what's inside this module. Oh, surely. That tells me a lot. Experimental. Animation support is experimental. Okay. So, have we done this wrong? Or is there a bug with animation? That's the key here. It's definitely not doing it anymore. It's definitely not handling the translation. Very, very interesting. Transform, translate X. It's not coming out with any compilation errors. So it definitely understands it. It can compile it. It's just not executing it. what if I run this in Firefox? Let's see if it's something specific to the way it's written that it works on Firefox and not Chrome. Let's see if it actually works here. Because this is using web animations. So, login screen, and let's go back to login form. Doesn't look to be that at all. No, it's got the same web action here. So interesting, guys. Still not 100% certain if I've actually fully upgraded to Angular 4 here. I guess the only way we're going to know whether what I've done is somewhat working is to try this Ifelse stuff. Okay, so let's try that. So let's just grab something like this, and we'll tweak it a little bit, maybe see what we get. We'll do something very, very simple, and I'll add it to the bottom of the app component under the route. So ng if we'll go false. No, if show this. And what was the if condition? How does it work now? We just go async as users, else loading. Okay, so this is saying, I believe, put in the user list here what we get from users, and if it's not there yet, we're going to go loading. So how are we going to generate the same thing here? There's a couple of helpful changes. You can use the if-else style. So it looks like we don't need to do that though. We just use the template ID and do something else. So I can say if show this, and we can go else semicolon else loading. Let's do that. And we've got the ng template down here. It says loading. And then we'll just put garbage in here. This is showing, right? And I'll save that. And this is all experimental, guys. I really do not know if what I'm doing is correct. I am just assuming. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to show this equals true, like so. And we'll check the loading in a second. We'll just see if this comes up with anything. So we'll come back over to our code. And it says this is showing, so that's not throwing an error. Yep, no error in the console. So let's set this to false. Pretty straightforward. Loading, and it just says loading, right? That's what we wanted, right? And just to confirm that that's not actually the loading from the starting point, let's try I am loading for a while because I'm testing Angular 4. Alright. And there we go. So that's the Angular 4 stuff is applying. It's very interesting that I'm getting errors in the CLI when I was running this. Now I may have to basically look that up. And I wonder if the latest of the CLI is going to help me with that. It potentially may not, because I've just installed the packages. I haven't upgraded the CLI, I don't believe, in that line that they sent. They've just said, here's the install code for the packages. So I've got Angular, Common Compiler. There is Compiler CLI. Let's try, out of curiosity, let's try and upgrade our Angular CLI here. So npm install -g Angular-CLI. Let's see if this has a version 4 default in it. Deprecated Angular-beta 28. 3 Angular CLI has been renamed to Angular CLI. Please update your dependencies. Well, not really using that in anything. Mini match. There seems to be a lot going on here, so that's pretty interesting. It's updating Node even. Node SAS. There's a lot going on here. Alright. So, we've got a whole bunch of stuff here that we just got back for the Angular CLI. And again, we're getting that same issue with RxJS now. Everything else seems to be okay. Unmet peer dependency. What does unmet peer dependency mean? Yeah, this is what I want to know. It is believed because the dependency resolution is broken, see, you may need to manually install top level modules that have unmet dependencies. Okay, let's try that. So what was the one that we, RxJS? Okay, so we'll just npm install RxJS. Install RxJS. Angular Core 241 requires a peer of the numbers installed. Angular Core 2.4.10, but we should be on Angular Core 4 now, right? It looks like to me the Angular CLI is still using .NET, it's using Angular 2. So it doesn't look like they've upgraded this yet. And that's fine, that's totally okay. So we just disregard all of this. And we just do what they did before, just to make sure that our stuff is back to being up to date here. Honestly, I think I'm okay. I think it's working. I think there's a bug with transitions, with the translate. I think that they might find that out in due time. And if anybody has been able to get to work to translate, let me know. But it just looks to me, and look at all this stuff, yeast, yang. This must be part of the, yeah, this is the node packages for sure. Platform browser, Angular, node modules. Yeah, so we'll just come back over to the terminal, and for one last time, we'll paste this in again, just to make sure we've got everything back to what it was. And then what do we do after this? Then run ngserve or npm start command you normally use, and everything should work. Here are line animations, import that. Yeah, so we've done that already. Without this, your code won't compile and run, but animations will trigger in an error. Imports for Angular Core were deprecated. Use imports from the new package, Angular Animations. Ah, this might be what I'm missing. So let's try going down to my router animations. And we will put in Angular/animations here, and we're not getting any errors, so that's good. And I'll quickly do this for the login one as well, and save. And now we come over, and hopefully everything is working as intended, which I need to start ngserve again. And I'm hoping these invalid things are just issues that I can ignore. If anybody knows why it says invalid like that, please let me know. I personally do not know why it's doing it. for warning video using CLI NPM package for the next release, which will only support node. Blah, blah. Yeah, but you haven't upgraded it yet. I should go and check the Angular CLI website as well. So, come in, just slash login, and it's still not working. The transition is still not, it's not sliding to the right. So there's definitely an issue, but everything else is fine. I'm going to put that down to a bug. Alright. If it works for you, any of you guys after you upgrade, after doing what I just did, and you're able to get it to go to add module, add the browser animations module by using that path, and then come into the animation file and go Angular/animations, and you still get the translate as part of a parallel, let me know. The last thing I'm going to try here is I'm going to actually take this out of a parallel. I'm going to put it into one animation just to see if it will translate if I do this instead, and just remove the group for the moment just to see if this makes any difference whatsoever. It may not, but it's worth a shot, because it could be just a testing problem. Maybe they forgot to test something and it might be just something that's left behind. Delete that, grab the animate, move it outside the group, and put it back in here, and we'll save and see how we go. So now it's sliding in. So it seems to me, as part of upgrading, they haven't got groups working very well in animations. That's interesting. Should report that as a bug. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Hopefully that's helped you with your upgrade. Pretty straightforward. I'll leave this link in the description. But basically all I did was came and followed the instructions they had here. They had a couple of issues with some of the packages. I manually upgraded those, and then I did what they said here for the animations, and for the most part it is working, other than it looks like animation groups don't work. But it's now entering and exiting, as I can see here. If I go back, you'll see it slides in and out again. Yep. So from going forward on this, I'm going to start using Angular 4. Okay. So in the next video, we will look at what I just did here with the if-else constraint. So basically this template stuff here, we'll look more into this. I need to get my head around it a little bit to find out exactly what it's doing. It looks pretty straightforward though. If some boolean, else, use some template, and then we've just got some ng template with a template ID, and that just displays some information. That's what it looks like to me. It doesn't look very complicated. But I'll play around with it a little bit in the next few minutes, and I'll put up another video explaining exactly how it works. Okay? So I'll see you in the next video.